Everyone, hello. If we could take a seat and go ahead and get this started. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Lynn Walsh. I'm the National President for the Society of Professional Journalists. This is the opening business session, so we will go ahead and begin. The Annual Convention of Delegates is the supreme legislative body of the Society. Delegates to this convention are charged with the responsibility of providing direction for the Society as it seeks to serve the best interest of its members in all of journalism. 7 delegates at the National Convention in New Orleans approved a bylaws change that transformed the way SPJ elects members of its national board. In the past, candidates were selected by chapter delegates. Now elections are inclusive of all members. 1 member, 1 vote. Processes for bylaws amendments and resolutions have not changed. The main duties of the convention delegates are to consider important resolutions and bylaws changes. These are issues that will govern SPJ and help set its agenda for years to come. The bylaws of the Society require that the business meetings of the Society be run by Robert's Rules of Order. We have a book if you would like to read it. In interpreting those rules, both today and during our closing business meeting, I will be assisted by our acting parliamentarian, Bill McCluskey. Bill, if you're here, he's in the back. If you do not know Bill, thank you, Bill. Today, I want to review the convention's voting procedures for bylaws amendments and resolutions. Voting is done by chapter and regional delegates. Good standing with the national organization receives votes for each 50 chapter members or fraction thereof. Delegates that represent unaffiliated members in each region are also calculated based on 1 vote for each 50 members or fraction thereof. Each delegate has been given a voting card with a number of votes assigned to that specific delegate by his or her chapter. If the delegate did not receive a voting card or has a question about their status, please see Associate Executive Director Tara Puckey. Tara, there. You will need your voting card during our next business meeting, which is on Saturday. Session. At this time, I will present the nominees for the 2017-2018 Board of Directors of the Society. Full bios at SPJ's Election Central, which you can find on the front page of www.spj.org, or a direct link in the EIJ17 app under the EIJ Information tab at the bottom of the SPJ business meeting in the schedule view. There are two candidates, and Jason Parsley. For Secretary Treasurer, there's one candidate, Patty Newberry. Large Director of the Society, there are 7 candidates, Alex Vieneman, Randy Bateman, Michelle Boyette, Lauren Bartlett, and Michael Belikov. 2 open positions, and we have 4 candidates. For campus representative, there are 2 open positions. So this is the student rep. This is not, sorry. Sorry. For campus representative, there are 2 open positions, and we have 4 candidates. They are Raheem Shigani, Kathy Rosenhammer, and Haley Harding. President of Campus Affairs, there are 2 candidates, Sue Kopen-Katzif and Key Mohammed. With the SPJ's bylaws, all members of the society in good standing at the date and time balloting begins are eligible to vote for officers and at-large directors. Electronic vote via email at the close of today's business session. 6 regions will hold elections for new directors via electronic ballot as well. These candidates from information posted on SPJ's Election Central that's accessible through spj.org and the EIJ17 app. Nominees for the regional director positions are Region 2, Andy Schatz, Michael Koretsky, Joe Radsky, Ethan Chung and Don Myers. Region 11, Matt Hall. And Region 12, Kelly Kissel. Motion to accept the committee's report of nominees. So moved. Second, Patty. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So now we will hear from the candidates themselves. Races have been encouraged to give a 3-minute speech. So those races that are not contested, we will not be hearing from today. We will begin with the first, and this is for people that are running for the president-elect position. And first up is Alex Tarquinio. You're up first. And then just so you know, Tara is keeping time in the back. Okay. Are you okay with going first? Is this a... Okay, so Alex will go first. She's directly in front here. We'll be giving you the minute warnings with time cards. Okay? So welcome, Alex Tarquinio.
Welcome to EIJ. I want to thank all of you for making the effort to be here, and to those Texans and Floridians who couldn't be, our thoughts and hopes go out to you. Let me start by saying how proud I am to have played a part in putting together this conference, our most diverse ever. A turning point, bringing more diversity to all levels of SPJ. I was chosen to represent SPJ on the EIJ Programming Committee, a role typically filled by the president-elect. So if I win your vote, I'll make next year's conference even more awesome and inclusive than it is today. Ultimately, of course, I'm asking you to select me as your president. I'm expected to wear many hats, chiefly as spokesperson to our members, and an ambassador to our partners and to the public. I'm confident that each of the dozen hats I've already worn at every level of SPJ has prepared me to take this on. But there's another hat of particular relevance to this conference, and that is leading a major transition to reduce the size of the national board. And I ought to add that the real credit for this plan goes to the hardworking chair of the task force, Patty Newberry. I sympathize with her, having chaired last year's governance task force. Like my colleagues on the national board, I know this proposal back to front, having worked on it in focus groups and board meetings, but you, the delegates, will make the final choice. Vote for it. The next president-elect will need to manage a smooth transition. Can I do this? You bet. And with my deep knowledge of the current board, I can speak to its challenges as well as its successes. I stand ready to lead the society, whatever the delegates decide. In either case, my primary goal is to lay the foundation of a strategic plan. Does it matter? Does anyone need reminding that our First Amendment freedoms are in dire jeopardy? As a member of the Legal Defense Fund Committee, I know that SPJ supports journalists embroiled in legal battles, especially freelancers who lack support from media outlets. Under my leadership, we'll continue to advocate against restrictions on public information and loudly proclaim our ethics code as the model of the profession. Need arises, and it will, I can wield an organization's advocacy. As chapter president, our city was gripped by the Occupy Wall Street protests, and once journalists were arrested, we made a beeline to the New York City Police Commissioner. President, I will not shy away from taking similar bold steps. We'll partner with like-minded groups nationally and internationally and create an advisory committee composed of media influencers because there is strength in numbers. Above all, it's imperative to rebuild the public trust. A while back, I belonged to SPJ's Project Watchdog, which educated the public about credible journalism through its campaign, Consider the Source. We'll revive this mission. Galvanize membership. Speaking of, our numbers are trending up. My many new members stand by SPJ as a proven First Amendment advocate. So together, let's spread the word, go forth, and multiply. Website alextarquinio.com and check out this speech. I'll be sharing the results from the site's 1-minute survey using the hashtag #FutureOfSPJ. Many thanks, and I'd be so grateful for your vote.
Thank you, Alex. From our second candidate for president-elect, Jason Parsley.
Hello, my name is Jason Parsley, and I'm running for president-elect. First, I would like to thank the National Board and the EIJ Committee for putting on what appears to be another spectacular event. I'd also like to thank the Terry Harper Scholarship Committee for choosing me to be a recipient. Professionally, I am the executive editor of the South Florida Gay News, the largest LGBT newspaper in the Southeast United States. I've led my chapter, I've led a newsroom, and now I want to lead SPJ. Last year, I was honored to be the recipient of the Howard S. Dubin Outstanding Pro Member Award. I'm a past president of my local chapter. Under my leadership, we won Chapter of the Year, territory statewide, because I wanted to make sure every journalist in Florida was represented by a chapter. Chapters are the lifeblood of SPJ. Thing as a national board to support their local efforts to attract new members and retain old ones. We must make it easier, not harder, for members to launch new chapters. Chapters help spread our mission locally. We are the largest broad-based organization for journalists. It's imperative we remain so. Are on decline, and if I am elected, it will be my priority to find new ways to increase membership. I served on a task force to come up with a new category for membership. Served on SPJ's governance task force. Bold new proposal to take SPJ into the future. I believe I am the candidate to lead that transition. I also served on the National Awards Committee, Diversity Committee, and Bylaws Committee this year. When I took over our local awards contest, It was in decline. We were bleeding entries and revenue. I stopped the bleeding. It was because of my perseverance and dedication that we were able to turn it around. Today we are growing, and I couldn't be more excited. That's how our chapter makes money to fund the programs that we offer. In the last decade, we've won Chapter of the Year 3 times, and we're a finalist again this year. That's not by accident. That takes money. That's why I believe we need to provide more support for our new contests around the country. It's because of that money we don't have to ask our members for local dues. SPJ members are taxed enough. We don't want to charge them more. As some of you know who have been here before, diversity is very close to my heart. And as I said last year, heading into the future, diversity cannot be an afterthought. It has to be a forethought. It can't just be a buzzword that looks pretty on paper. We must commit to it in practice and policy. Journalism and journalists are being attacked from all sides, from the highest levels of government to fake news. SPJ is the organization that must lead the charge against these threats to our profession and our members. So if you want to freshen up SPJ, remember to vote for Parsley for president-elect.
Thank you, Jason. Now for candidates for director at large, sorry. Bieneman and Randy Bateman are unable to join us, but their names will still appear on your electronic ballot. We'll first hear from candidate for director at large, L. Tusi. Yes.
Thank you all. I had a chance the past few days to reflect on my time with SPJ since I first started a few years ago. And since then, when I first started, I was trying to find my place. And I became involved with lots of different organizations and different communities within SPJ. And I finally found my home by becoming the chair in the international community. And I've realized that more so in this last year, so much has changed. It's a very trying time for someone, a journalist, especially in this past year. For myself, I can speak on my own experience. And by supporting an organization like SPJ, this is probably the most important time to do so. My involvement with the international community, because I knew the value and I wanted to see this community grow. This past year, I made a commitment to myself and to my co-chair and to those that wanted this community to grow, to listen. One of the most important things you can do for a community is to listen to what the people want. This year, in the beginning, I set some goals. A community that was 20 people is now 256. A community that reached out to me from the very beginning, asking me for resources. Can you please help me in the regions that I'm going to? Can you help me find a fixer? What do I do? And tomorrow, during a community meeting, I plan on forming and announcing the collaborations we have with a company called World Fixer, where they're going to be helping a community they go to and provide them the resources that they need. Earlier this year, I made a point, a blog series, a women's series. Selfishly, because I myself, earlier this year, was in Jordan reporting and realized what a need and what a sacrifice there is for women when they go to regions without the resources they need. And because of that experience, I knew not know where to go to get those resources and to simply speak to someone about what had happened to me. Community series for 1 month is now still growing. Another collaboration that I plan to announce tomorrow in journalism. For someone that's going to be running for director at large that listens to the community, provides resources to what you need, then I advise you to look my direction, and I will continue to do that for SPJ as a whole.
Thank you, Elle. The next candidate is Melissa Allison, another candidate for Director at Large. Melissa?
Hello. Before I start, I just want to tell you how honored and grateful I am, humbled that I can be here among you to just ask you to, as your Director at Large. This is my first SPJ conference. I graduated last year, so my speech may be a little bit different. First, I want to give you a little bit of background of who I am. This is kind of a first full circle moment for me. I grew up in Cypress, California, which is about 30 minutes away from here. And when I was about 12 years old, it was a Sunday, I decided to hop in my parents' car and just back it up and pull it into the driveway. Nobody noticed. So I thought, I'll back it up and pull it alongside the curb. Nobody noticed. Hopped on the freeway. I drove all the way here to Disneyland, hung out for a little bit, then went back. And of course, my parents caught me right in front of our church building on my way back. And so it's kind of exciting for me to think, 40 years later that I'm here asking all of you as a journalist. And part of that makes it even more meaningful for me is that I'm dyslexic. I was diagnosed in the 1st grade. I didn't know what a noun was till the 9th grade. I hated the game where there are all these words in a pile in the middle, and everybody had to run and grab a word and say if it was a noun, an adjective, what it was. Nobody wanted me on their team. So the fact that I'm a journalist here is another success for me as well. So here I am. I'm asking you. When I was a kid, we had people like Walter Cronkite, Barbara Walters, Katharine Graham, and journalism was a different world back then. Today we have truthiness, we have fake news, we have shows like TMZ, and all of these people call themselves journalists. And Joe Skill, when I decided to go ahead and do this, by the way, I blame Mel Robbins and her book, The 5-Second Rule, for getting me to even dare to come and ask you to choose me as your Director at Large. I asked him, I said, where can I find an outline of what are the responsibilities for a Director at Large? And yeah, there isn't one. There isn't one. It's more about your vision. And so I thought about what is my vision? And so I thought back to Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters and what journalism was like back then and what it is today. And my goal, my vision, is to continue to support the journalists, to help SPJ to move forward, and to bring back solid journalism and the respect that journalists earned. I mean, journalists around the world are risking their lives to bring us the news, to tell the stories that aren't being told. And I would consider it a great honor to be a part of the SPJ team and to help support doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Next, we'll hear from Lauren Bartlett, candidate for Director at Large. Lauren?
Experience, passion, and dedication. That's why I'm running for Director at Large. An advocate for SPJ for many years, dating back to my college chapter. I served as a Director at Large on the national board from 2010 to 2012. Board of the Greater Los Angeles Pro Chapter for 18 years, including having the honor of serving as president 3 times. Of my SPJ work was serving on the Ethics Committee in 2013 and 2014 when we updated the Code of Ethics. proud moment when delegates adopted the revised code at the 2014 convention. I'm running now because it's disconcerting that many of the same issues facing journalists when I served on the national board have become even more critical today. And now the industry is under the attack for fake news, making the need for the society greater than ever. One of the biggest problems we face in journalism is the public's inability to understand the difference between solid source professional reporting and someone's random thoughts that are posted on the web. At a remote mountain cabin or at the corner Starbucks, the mere fact that the internet makes it possible for anyone to come across as a legitimate reporter poses major challenges to the profession. It's more important than ever to focus on accuracy and promote the highest professional standards in order to earn and maintain the public's trust. My past SPJ experience, understanding what works and what doesn't, makes me uniquely qualified to address these challenges. I can also provide guidance and stability on the board as we undergo transition of leadership when our executive director leaves at the beginning of December. I would promote greater public understanding about what journalists do. Partnering with other journalism organizations and championing media literacy will help us achieve that goal. I also would maintain and build on SPJ's good work, enhancing our standing nationally among the journalists and the public as the go-to organization on journalism matters. Finally, as an experienced member of the National Ethics Committee, I would keep the spotlight on the importance of ethics, which are crucial in our ever-changing media landscape. The proposal before delegates this year to create a smaller, more strategic board would make the organization more nimble and responsive to changes in the field to ensure SPJ remains relevant. I want to help SPJ with its work on all of these critical issues, and I'm asking for your vote to help me do just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Our next candidate for Director at Large, Michael Belikov. Michael?
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Belikov, and from 2000 and 2016, I was a columnist with Entrepreneur Magazine, a blogger with Forbes, and a columnist with Today's Campus Magazine. I've taken half a year off to write my next book, which is called Strategy. There's a tongue-in-cheek title, but everyone has their own opinion. I'm new to SPJ. I'm not someone you've ever seen before at one of your events unless you came to an event in Las Vegas, which is where I live, a few years ago. But I'm a governance one. Digs, board work. I started and sold an internet company between 1997 and 2002. I was a student vice president of the 10th largest public university in the country. I currently serve on the board of trustees, the board of regents at Southern California University of Health Sciences. So if I'm elected to serve on the SPJ board, I understand that we have a new model for how our bylaws say we'll operate, but we don't have a governance model. And I had a couple conversations with the current executive director who's leaving us in a little bit about governance models, what they are and why they matter. And so what I'd like to see happen over at SPJ is I'd like to see the board operate based on a governance model that says, here's what we do, here's what the staff does, here's how we interact with each other, so that year after year after year, we're not like a parade marching through town that has different orders given to the staff. Staff knows what they're responsible for, we know what we're responsible for. What we're responsible for on the board is the fiduciary of the organization. We're not responsible for daily operations or what happens at the office, how they answer the phone, or what this membership benefit is, or what this brochure looks like, or what the next is going to look like, right? We're supposed to be focused on long-term and short-term planning, and that's something that I really excel at. To the board, I would focus on short-term and long-term planning. I would bring there all my expertise on boards that I served on in the past. And I'd really like to also see us thought around this notion of brand journalism. A lot of us, of the traditional newsroom, by the lost jobs, or we transition or consulting, and many of us are working in this role that I coined brand journalism. where on a daily basis we're writing content for businesses, corporations, and others, either as a ghostwriter or as a contractor. No one is really doing much to say what brand journalism needs to adhere to when it comes to a code of ethics. I think that's a wonderful opportunity for our organization to take on and to establish some of our own thought leadership about it. So thanks for your time, and I hope I give you some good thoughts.
Thank you, Michael. Our final candidate for Director at Large is Michelle Boyette. Here due to the Hurricane Irma storm that is in South Florida. So here to speak on her behalf is Emily Block. Thank you, Emily.
Good afternoon. My name is Emily Block. I'm the Community Coordinator and a member of the Executive Director Search Committee. I'm here to speak on behalf of Michelle Boyette. With Hurricane Irma on its way, as Lynn said, into South Florida, Michelle regrettably could not be here today. She's incredibly sad to miss this conference and the opportunity to speak with you directly, but as I'm sure many of you agree, family comes first. So I'm going to read the following statement from Michelle. First, I'd like to take a moment to thank Bill McCloskey, who has served as Director at Large for over a decade. Back in January, Bill and I shared a beer in San Diego, study SPJ's communications in an all-day retreat. This would be his last year on the board. He said SPJ was changing and someone with my digital background would be needed more and more. The conversation prompted me to run, so thank you, Bill. And thank you, Lynn, for inviting me to that intense retreat. While the meeting's focus was on improving our organization's communication, we also took a critical eye to SPJ's 5-year plan, goals, and a role in today's climate. It was an honor to be a part of that discussion, but there is still a lot to be done. Help ensure we finish what we started. We can take SPJ to the next level. A successful board needs a group of qualified people with an array of skills, and our board is lacking when it comes to digital media. Need someone with my skill set. I'm a writer and communicator who deeply understands social media, branding, website user experience, and email marketing. We're an organization that represents talented journalists who communicate all day, yet we can do so much more to communicate to our members and the public. On the local level for the past 8 years, proudly serving on the SPJ Florida board as a past president, vice president of membership, and other roles. We've won Chapter of the Year 3 times since 2010 and launched successful events that have been recreated around the country. I've been asked to serve on the Day of Giving, Resolutions, and Communications Committees with National, and I'm ready to formally take my experience to the National Board. Thank you in advance for your support and for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Wishing you all a wonderful conference. And if anyone has questions for Michelle, you can reach out to her through Twitter at mboyette. She said as long as she has power and internet, she'll get right back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you also, Michelle. It is now time to hear from the student representative candidates. Remember, there are 2 open seats for this position. 3 candidates, Rahim Shagini and Maravel Guzman, are unable to join us. Their names will still appear on your electronic ballot. So now you'll hear from our 4th candidate for student representative, Haley Harding. Haley?
Hi, everyone. My name is Haley Harding. I am a senior at Ohio University. I should thank Columbia Journalism School for providing me with a scholarship that allowed me to attend this conference. I am really deeply passionate about No, okay. We're not going to do that. My name's Haley Harding. I'm a senior at Ohio University, and I love SPJ with all of my heart. I have been part of SPJ almost to the day since I stepped on my college campus in 2014. I served as freshman liaison my freshman year and helped plan a regional conference which was an insane experience. I served as treasurer the year after that, and then last year I served as president of the Ohio University chapter, which was the National Outstanding Campus Chapter of the Year, which was so exciting. I now am the immediate past president. Part of the reason I love SPJ so much is that it's been around for me since I've identified as a person who is a journalist. And I think in many ways, it's what helped me identify as a person who is a journalist. And I think that's what SPJ does for a lot of students. It is what takes you from a person who writes stories for the newspaper to a person who is seriously passionate about journalism to the point they rip speeches up, and a person who is part of something much, much bigger than themselves. I think students are really, really important and often underappreciated. We lifelong members, all the people I know definitely are going to be, because we love SPJ, we love the things it does, we love the opportunities it provides. I think it's really important that SPJ demonstrates that it cares about students, which is why I want to be National Student Representative. I think as a student, I care very deeply about students, and I want to help pave a path for those who follow. And I think that should be a goal for all of us. Is the future of journalism is coming, whether we like it or not. It is scary. Trust me, I too am scared. But I think it's important that we meet journalists where they are, and a lot of times that comes in the forms of younger people, and that comes in the form of being digitally savvy. I think that also comes in the form of focusing on what affects newsrooms now, so that it focuses on digital innovation, which I think is something that we could put more effort toward, of being more digitally savvy, more digitally innovative. That also means providing resources to help the general public to be a journalist, because there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, fake news out there. I think it's also important that we help our own members move forward digitally. And I'm required to say this because I am deeply passionate about freedom of information. I think it's really great that we provide more students the opportunity to pursue sunshine laws or sunshine requests and public record laws. I really love SPJ. I love the thing it does for me and for all the students around me. I think I'd be a really good National Student Representative, and I hope you vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. Now we will hear from our candidates for Vice President of Campus Affairs, Campus Chapter Affairs. Our first candidate to speak is Sue Kopen-Katsev. Sue?
Thanks, Lynn. SPJ has been a part of my life since my sophomore year at the University of Maryland. Through good and challenging times, I have been a volunteer and served in leadership roles at the campus, local, and national levels. But rather than take time here to expand on that, I would ask and I would encourage you to check out SPJ's Election Central and Region 2 RD Andy Schatz's blog on spj.org for additional information about my years of service and my background. Throughout my many years with SPJ, I've tried to make a difference, living and growing SPJ. Some of the changes that I proposed and that were adopted at the national level include the postgraduate membership dues structure, 3 years for 2 to cut the economic burden on new grads. Insisting that the proposed change in the SPJ governance come with the assurance that there will always be a campus voice as part of a reconstituted national board. Creation of our Mark of Excellence MOE Best of Show Award student contest to select a best of show drawn from a variety of platforms. I think, though, there are still areas that we can improve, particularly at the campus level. They include membership retention, especially as postgrads move beyond the 3 years out of college. Plus, unfortunately, we've lost a number of campus chapters for a whole variety of reasons. It is also hard to hold on to campus advisors. Those are all areas we need to tackle. The SPJ is now at a very critical crossroads. The next 2 years will very likely determine SPJ's course. Delegates, as you know, to this year's convention are being asked to approve major revisions in the bylaws that will dramatically change SPJ's governance structure. Support and which would be phased in over the next 2 years. I would very much like to remain on the board so that I can add my voice and my experience to that process. I want to use my years of leadership with SPJ and other organizations as well to help with charting the course that takes us into the future. I would greatly appreciate your support so I can do just that. Consideration.
Thank you, Sue. Next, we'll hear from our second candidate for Vice President of Campus Chapter Affairs, Keem Muhammad. Keem?
Hey. Fall 2015, I was editor-in-chief of Legacy Magazine at Louisiana State University, working under the late Steve Buttrey. And that was my very first time working in journalism, and I had absolutely zero experience prior to this in any form of editorial leadership. But my professional experience in management helped me to lead a team of about 23 students in finding the resources and the journalistic training that they needed to become effective writers. Those resources came from SPJ. Soon after, I became a member. After working at LSU to be a interim editorial director for equalityforher.org, where I helped them to transition from where they were to basically a brand reemergence online. After working with her, I was able to be a consultant at the Associated Press, where I helped lead an election year project where we were able to provide all of the election database information to Google's engineers. I was able to provide the engineers with resources to Freedom of Information Act requests, which came from SPJ. I ran for a position on the board as campus representative, and I stepped into the position with a host of ideas that I thought we should implement and take on to make SPJ better. I was immediately met with the internal politics of the board, which has been exciting and very dynamic. That didn't stop me. I only realized that maybe what I need to do is spend a little bit more time on the board. This last year, learning all of the things that SPJ needs on the national level, the things that we struggle with. And so I stand before you today as a candidate for Vice President of Campus Chapter Affairs as a student. Experience that I just mentioned to you, I gained as a student. And so I've seen the disconnect that is occurring here at SPJ. You know, we have spent the past year, the governance task force has done an incredible job what it is that we need to do as far as governing is concerned, but our issues don't stop at governing. We're losing student members, losing us money. But those issues aren't mutually exclusive. There is a solution that ties all of these together, and I believe that that lies in the student body membership. As Vice President of Campus Chapter Affairs over the next 2 years, I plan on helping to make SPJ better through investing in student membership and campus chapters. So if you have any questions about what those plans are, please come talk to me. I would like to meet more people outside of the national board. So yeah, my name is Keem Muhammad, and thanks again.
Thank you, Keem. Finally, we'll hear from our candidates for Director of Region 10. Our first candidate is Ethan Chung. Ethan? Clap.
Thank you, Lynn. Hello. Thank you for joining me here at EIJ to celebrate our industry and our mission. My name is Ethan Chung, and I'm the current Region 10 Director. I'm seeking re-election for a second term in this position because I want to continue to contribute to SPJ as a leader at the local level. The current plan to overhaul SPJ's Board of Directors focus and strategy, and I believe it will give regional directors more opportunity to work with chapters and members at the local level. With several years experience as a chapter leader myself, in addition to my term as Region 10 Director, I maintain an understanding of the importance our chapters have and will continue to work tirelessly to make sure that their needs are addressed, even if this position is no longer part of the board, because those chapters are the cornerstone of this organization. As Region 10 Directors included thorough planning and execution of the annual Regional Pro Contest, which is a major fundraiser for chapters in our region. The task is no small feat. It's notoriously full of pitfalls and challenges, but my colleagues in the region can attest that I have met those with passion, patience, and grace. I intend to continue to shepherd this contest to success and help it evolve as our regions need and change. I'd like to see innovative and new ways to produce our regional conference, and that includes using technology to make sure that we can involve members in our region who cannot attend because of our geographical challenges in Region 10. We have a lot of space in our region. I'm also inspired to help reinvigorate dormant pro and student chapters in our area and interest in SPJ in general. I anticipate a resurgence in zeal for our mission as journalists continue to face unprecedented roadblocks to doing their jobs properly. And I think our organization is in a unique time where there's an excellent opportunity to rally members to our greater cause. I accomplished much in my first 2 years as Region 10 Director, but there's certainly more work to be done. I'm an advocate for constant improvement, and I'm prepared to work harder than ever to help our region grow and be the best it can be. Excited to bring my passion, good nature, experience, and integrity to the Region 10 Director position for another term. Please send questions and ideas about the region and SPJ as a whole to me on Twitter at Ethan D. Chung. And I just want to thank you for your consideration. I look forward to the opportunity to continue to serve journalists in Region 10.
Thank you, Ethan. Next is our second candidate for Region 10 Director, Don Myers. Don? Here, maybe not. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so again, though, your two people for Region 10 Director are Ethan Chung, who you just heard from, and Don Myers. Now to go over the convention resolutions information. Information sheet contains information about submitting resolutions for consideration by the convention. Our resolutions committee chairman is Sunny Alvarado. Sunny, would you please wave? He's in the back behind you. Thank you, Sunny. If you or your chapter has resolutions for consideration that have not already been submitted to the committee, please do so. Sooner the better, as Sunny would agree. Them as a Word document in an email to SPJ Sunny, that's SPJ SONNY @gmail.com, and the deadline is before 8 p.m. tonight. The resolutions proposals will be available Saturday morning after 11 a.m. Delegates should stop by the EIJ registration desk to pick up a copy prior to voting during business session Saturday afternoon. Proposals will also be available via the EIJ17 app in the closing business session view. Now we go on to our awards. I'd like to take a moment to present some special awards to our chapters around the country for their outstanding work. SPJ's Circle of Excellence Awards honor chapters with large and small in 5 key categories. The first, First Amendment and Freedom of Information activity. The second, Campus Relations and Scholarship activities. Activities promoting diversity among journalists. The fourth, Professional Development and Continuing Education programs. Chapter Communications. Announce winners this year, and I hope you'll join me in applauding all their incredible efforts. To the winning chapters, please stand and be recognized. Following the meeting today, please see Tara Puckey, again in the back, she's waving, to pick up your certificates. Professional Development and Education, the Society recognizes Minnesota Pro as the large chapter. Anyone from Minnesota Pro? Stand. Congratulations. Tennessee Pro as the small chapter. Middle Tennessee. Congratulations to both of you. Freedom of Information, the large chapter winner is Press Club of Long Island. Yes, please stand. Congratulations. Winner is Rio Grande Pro. For special efforts in the area of diversity, we recognize a large chapter, Florida Pro. And a small chapter, Arkansas Pro. Congratulations to both of you. The Society also honors both Florida Pro, a large chapter. This is Florida Pro, large chapter. And Pro, small chapter. For outstanding communication. Lastly, in the category of campus relations, the Society applauds the efforts of large chapter recipient, San Diego Pro. And small chapter, Cincinnati Pro. Congratulations. Congratulations again to each of these Circle of Excellence winners. And again, you can pick up your certificates from Tara in the back. The Society honors 2 chapters, a large chapter of 75 or more members and a small chapter of fewer than 75 members for their commitment to SPJ's mission and exceptional chapter programming. I'm pleased to announce that in a large chapter category, the 2017 Chapter of the Year is awarded to the Florida Pro chapter. Could officers please come to the stage to accept the plaque? So here's all of the great things that Florida Pro has accomplished this year. The Florida Pro chapter was selected based on its varied and extended programming promoting diversity, ethics, and First Amendment education. Event this year, Muslim Media, brought together journalists, activists, and religious leaders for a timely and interactive discussion of how the media covers the Muslim community. 17 other programs included a drone tour, bringing the chapter's drone to half a dozen college campuses across 2,000 miles and 5 states, allowing students to experience a new form of journalism. Facilitated a panel discussion on the ethics of mass murder coverage in the media, a fake news game show designed to educate journalists and non-journalists alike about spotting fake news. Let's give the Florida Pro chapter another big round of applause for all of their exceptional work. Small chapter category, the 2017 Chapter of the Year is Cincinnati Pro. Could the board members please come up? Don't be afraid. Come on up. So now let's hear all that Cincinnati did. Stay up, stay up, stay up. Don't leave, Higgy. Cincinnati Pro was named the Small Chapter of the Year due to its dedication to educating and training journalists, promoting freedom of information, and government in mentoring the next generation of journalists. The chapter's 22 programs, Florida, they gave you a run for your money, included 3 pre-election events, drawing a total of 160 attendees. The 3 candidates for Cincinnati mayor, and 2 sessions aimed at training local journalists to utilize the Cincinnati Police Department's new online public records request portal. The chapter also held 10 Lunch with Pros gatherings featuring working journalists leading panel discussions on topics of interest with students on 4 college campuses in 2 states. This year was a well-attended and well-produced tribute to retired journalist and academic Emil Dansker, who has been an SPJ member for over 61 years. The Cincinnati Pro chapter as they continue to produce great work on behalf of SPJ and journalists everywhere. Now I would like to take a moment to recognize other outstanding chapters. It is Chapter of the Year. Their efforts are top-notch and should not go unnoticed. The year finalist, Minnesota Pro, Bluegrass Pro, and Las Vegas Pro were among a list of chapters that went above and beyond to improve and protect journalism. Congratulations to them. Congratulations again to all chapters on a fantastic year. And please see Tara, who's now over here, at the close of the meeting to pick up your certificates. Now that you've heard about the business items for consideration during this convention, business items introductions should come before this opening session. We shall adjourn until Saturday afternoon. Oh, Don Myers is here. Okay, so we actually are going to, before we close this, where is Don? Okay, so again, Don is running for Region 10, so I'm going to ask him to come forward and give his 3-minute speech as a candidate for your consideration. Thank you, Don.
Good evening and welcome to Anaheim. My name is Don Myers. I am running for SPJ Region 10 Director. For those of you who don't know me, and I was previously the Region 9 Director. I'm also a past chapter president, and I also served on SPJ's National FOI Committee. I'm a member of SPJ for almost 30 years now, and it has been probably one of the constants in my life, and there is a lot I owe to this organization in my career, and I always see serving in SPJ as a way of giving back. In my opinion, SPJ stands for everything that is good and best about journalism, and it is also an advocate for the people's right to know. And as regional director, if elected, I promote that within my region. I will also work with our chapters, make sure that the chapters are A, healthy, and B, where we don't have chapters, I will do what I can to help develop those chapters. In fact, I've made this promise before, I will make it again, that if we can get a chapter started in Alaska, and if I'm elected, to induct the officers, even if I have to go in the dead of winter. But seriously, I view chapters as the strength, the strength of SPJ, and also see our regional conferences do better, be a place where students and professionals can come together and inspire each other. And I would also like to reach out to other journalism organizations to our regional conference to cooperate and make the conference that much richer and basically have us all work together for our common goal. I also believe in SPJ's advocacy work, especially at this time when journalism is under attack like it's never been before. We have a president who has weaponized the phrase fake news. And even within our own region, we have seen a journalist attacked just for doing his job. And as a regional director, I would advocate for the public's right to know and for journalists' First Amendment rights. Very much. Enjoy the convention.
Thank you, Don. And again, that's for Region 10, and it's Don Myers and Ethan Chung who are running. Unless there are other business item introductions that should come before this opening session, we shall adjourn until Saturday afternoon. A glance at the program will show you that there are great things in store for the conference. The Planning Committee and the staffs of SPJ, NAJA, NEHJ, and our TDNA have worked incredibly hard to bring you training and networking opportunities, so be sure to take advantage of them. As a reminder, members in good standing will receive an electronic ballot via email at the close of this meeting. Questions about the election process or your ballot, please see Tara Puckey. She is in the back. You can also email elections@spj.org, or you can call or text the following phone number, 317-618-0581. Again, that's 317-618-1. And the email address again is elections@spj.org. Chapter delegate, there will be a quick training session prior to the closing business session. It will take place in Platinum 2, beginning at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. Again, that's Platinum 2, 1:30 p.m. Saturday. Please take advantage of this opportunity, and for those of you who have served in this role before, it doesn't hurt to get a refresher. So we will see you at the next business meeting at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. That is being held in Orange County 2. To adjourn. Thank you. A second. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you. Enjoy EIJ.